Pakistan is a nation submerged, not only with water that has taken nearly 2,000 lives and displaced 20 million, but with fear, anxiety, and utter need. Though the waters are receding, the destruction has not let up. It's what aid agencies are calling the second wave. They warn the lack of food, medicine, and sanitation could create an even greater humanitarian disaster. What's worse, they say, is that the images and repeated appeals have failed to generate the donations needed. Relief efforts have been steady but slow and cloaked in some controversy. Critics say those who need aid the most are simply not receiving it, among them Pakistan's minority Christian population. And that's why the local church, both here and abroad, is mobilizing to meet the deluge of need. Pastor Peter Paul and his wife Jemima are going over their travel plans to bring aid to the local church in Pakistan. It's a church they were deeply part of before immigrating to Canada several years ago. They say threats and religious persecution forced them to flee. Though they've settled into their new home, they've never lost touch with their homeland. And the reports they're hearing aren't good.
If they would help, they will give priority to the Muslim people. Even Muslims are crying. They are not getting that much support. The second thing is the people think that they are infidels. So they feel happy when they see Christians. They are dying and they are in suffering. So I believe that I have doubt if they could get hardly support from any kind of agencies.
That's why Pastor Paul is motivated to go, to bring resources to those who are cut off from the flow of aid. But generating resources here is hard too.
You know, we are a small church here, and we don't have much resources. Because I am immigrant and we are trying to build here in Canada. So, but we are praying that the God gave us resources that we can help people over there. So people were, they have lost everything. I have a list of people, those who suffered, and they are staying in different schools, in different places, and they have lost everything.
He says his predominantly Urdu-speaking congregation has been distraught by what's happening. But like others, they have a distrust of donating to larger agencies. He says there's a perception of corruption and fear aid will be funneled through the Taliban.
If we wanted to help them, we should be very vigilant, and we should see where we are giving our money and support, that we need to choose a right person. I think people are afraid that if they are going to donate money, so maybe that money will go to the wrong-handed. They are afraid maybe Taliban will use that money, or who is going to use their resources.
That negative perception could explain why Canadians aren't quick to give to the crisis in Pakistan. An Angus Reid poll found while 38 of 100 Canadians said they helped the Haiti earthquake relief efforts, only 4% made a donation to aid Pakistan. This despite Ottawa's pledge to match private donations. Greg Musselman, a voice of the Martyrs, isn't surprised of this wariness. He's documented the stories of Pakistani Christians living in the Northwest Frontier Province, a hotbed of Taliban activity and an area heavily affected by the floods.
And what is happening is that the supplies are going to these mosques, and these militant types are intimidating the people, that are giving out the distribution, and they are discriminating against Christians. And in some cases, we have recently heard 3 Christian workers from a Christian organization were killed because the Taliban is trying to use this situation, and I mean it's horrible. It is so irrational to think that people could be doing this, but I mean if people can go around blowing up children, blowing up other mosques, killing Christians, killing their own people for their ideology, people like the militant Sunnis, or the Taliban, I guess it doesn't really surprise us that they're using the flood to try to win popularity towards their cause.
In spite of the fear tactics, Musselman says there are Christian organizations on the ground, and a local church that has been struggling long before the floodwaters came.
So the prayer that is coming out of there towards organizations like ours and Open Doors and Samaritan's Purse is, look, you have to help us because we're not receiving the aid. And as difficult as it is to get aid in to some of these places, once it's there, they don't have access to it because they're Christians, unless, of course, they convert to Islam. And many of them are not prepared to do that.
Part of the problem, he says, is one of image. The Taliban have poisoned people's minds against Christians.
And I'm seeing reports from all over the world, from East Africa, places like Somalia. There's this movement that Christians don't belong in these countries. And now again, in Pakistan, Christians and Muslims, the peaceful ones have lived together for centuries. They've been friends, they've been neighbors, but you get this radical group and then they start to, try to get others that are not as radical. They recruit them into their ranks and then they, give them the indoctrination that, Christians need to go. They're Western, they're from America, they have a Western agenda, all that. And so as it is right now, they're already considered second-class citizens. And when you've got such a horrible tragedy that's taking place right now in Pakistan, that they're even being further exploited.
In the meantime, images of desperation continue to flow out of Pakistan. And that's why Musselman says the church has an opportune moment to break through the propaganda and touch the hearts of all Pakistanis.
The Pakistan situation, because it is so fluid, it's still going, it's in emergency mode and probably will be for some time. But once the communities are repaired, I believe Christian organizations and churches will be there to help rebuild these areas. And so this is an opportunity for the church to make a positive impact into their communities.
And that's just what Pastor Paul and his family intend to do. They have been praying daily for Pakistan because they say it will take a miracle to change the situation for their people.
We have requested churches here, if they can support, if they wanted to help those people, like I am going, and if they can, we have names of people and their needs. So if they wanted to support them, what they can do, they can donate to our church. When I will go, we can, through the church, through the local church or local agency, we will go there and help those people who are affected. Not only Christian, but others people too. My heart is still there, and I want to share the love of Christ over there too, especially in this situation when people lost their hope. And we wanted to go and tell them that we have a living hope and God loved them too.
For more information, or if you want to give, log on to our website at crossroads.ca. In Toronto, Denise Lodde, 100 Huntley Street.